I think this video could go on forever. Like, I haven't even mentioned the aesthetic similarities to fascism, like the fascist body. Overall, I just wanted to point out that...
And it's a damn shame because as I watch this, I see young men shaped like him becoming gender feminist in order to get butt without realizing that it will never work for you, bro. They won't like you because you're writing for their team. So I found this crazy video in it where a content creator apparently has a bone to pick with content creators in the men-centric space. Some refer to that as the manosphere. And essentially he is saying that the content creators are queer icons. Yeah, crazy, right? Anyway, let's give it a fair shot without further ado. Okay.
These are representative depictions of the ideal traditional man. We've all seen them, and to some extent even wish to imitate them. In pop culture, art, and education,
built like a
individuals are confronted with images that convey specific values regarding gender roles. And these expectations not only influence men's self-perception, but also affect their social relationships
Where the black guys
and
at?
mental health. The manosphere. An online group of men that promotes traditional gender values, promotes its optics as well. However, there is a great deal of irony and almost a certain adorableness in how they often fail to live up to the standards of the aesthetics of the manosphere.
Wait a minute.
They often fail.
Who is this? Who is the man in the middle with the tank driving over the 740 IL?
To live up to the standards of
I see where we're gonna go.
The manosphere.
Great ass.
Let's have fun.
That loser Patrick Bateman, what a dork.
And the dangerous thing about overly emotional men is that they're dangerous.
Thought the marginalized were supposed to have a voice.
While you are getting drunk and going to parties, I'm actually working on my business.
I want you to deal with your problems by becoming rich.
Okay.
That's incredible.
Ideal trad wife wants to have as many kids as possible.
What is a real alpha male?
I'm in touch with humanity.
Post-alcohol, post-jokes, and post-memes.
Younger women are more likely to be attracted to men who show dark triad traits.
Remember,
I'm 100 men!
Holy fuck. They can't destroy what they don't know.
Delete all social media apps.
Never post your achievements on social media.
Child of divorce.
Oh, they put Kevin in it. Bottom G.
We could basically cut this video short and say everything that fits the cliche is the aesthetic, right? Muscular, rich, smoking, drinking, tattooed, sunglasses.
Everything that fits the cliche is the aesthetic.
Muscular, rich, smoking, drinking.
Yeah, most of them don't smoke. Most of them don't smoke. Most of them don't drink. Yeah, there's a thing about strength and power that I can understand what it is that you're saying. And some of them, but not the majority of them, have wealth. What it is that the ones that with the most views, maybe they demonstrate this kind of lifestyle and this kind of wealth thing. But why is that Steve Harvey? Where did you source this material from? Steve Harvey is anything but manosphere, men-centric content. In fact, Steve Harvey gets a lot of shit for that book that he created. And the shit that he always says within all of his blue-built simp glory. What are you doing, baby?
Tattooed sunglasses.
Victim of circumcision? Gay Shrek? What is this?
Womanizer. But what makes this topic so interesting, in my opinion, are the deviations from this ideal image compared to these male icons from pop culture who have a rougher, more authentic appearance. Alpha males of the manosphere often appear more groomed, superficial, staged, and cleaner. They are basically just playing dress up.
Because they have suits on?
Business. I don't want you to think I'm triggered by you. I'm not. Okay. I saw somebody say that, and I think that's interesting. I think you're annoying, but I'm not triggered.
Listen, I'm not going to be the one here to defend like every single content creator that I've ever seen. I mean, shit, we just watched a young man roll over a BMW with a tank, right? There's a certain type of imagery, there's a certain type of visualization, right? There's a certain type of behavior that will generally get certain types of likes, comments, views from a particular audience that you want to garner attention from or sell a product to. Let's just call a spade a spade. And there's some men out there that are absolutely faking the funk, created some type of image in our brand to up their revenue. But I'll be damned if I'm going to let a toothpick-shaped man talk ill of men that project strength, or try to convince me that having a well-fitted suit on is bad or queer, which is crazy to me.
Everything they wear is tighter than spandex. Also, look at the colors.
What about them?
Or the patterns.
Wait a minute. What an interesting way to devalue your entire argument, including Jordan Peterson right here, in a manosphere is wild to me. He's never claimed it. He's a psychologist who also talks about human growth and development. And he doesn't display these traditional forms of masculinity, but you still included him in here. Meanwhile, you're talking about tight-fitting things. The brother on the right, blazer, is way too big for him. And then the guy on the left, I mean, he's got one button down on his suit. Like, what are you doing?
The intent is more Patrick Bateman-esque than rough, dirty Clint Eastwood-esque. And even then, Bateman's character presents himself as an upper-class yuppie. These men fail to even mimic that style due to their misunderstanding of how different classes present themselves. They want to appear rich, but lack the aesthetic understanding of how the rich actually look like. That looks cheap, not expensive. That look reminds me of one specific
suit is
movement.
Crazy.
The metrosexual aesthetic.
Ah, here we go. Here we go, baby. Was that Luda?
Men are now getting in touch with their feminine side.
The term metrosexuality was coined in the 1990s and describes men who challenge their traditional gender role by emphasizing their individuality and sense of fashion. Kinda ironic. The careful self-presentation could be seen as a desire to put themselves in the spotlight, to be desired and recognized. A game of pretend. They want attention and validation. So, what I'm also wondering is, who do they want to be recognized by?
1000%. It's to be recognized by other men. You know what's very interesting about this is that prior to moving down to Georgia, when I was up in Columbus, Ohio, I had an acquaintance within my friend group. We would go out from time to time. This guy is 6'6", 6'7", like 300 pounds of muscle. And guess who would stop that man on the street like he was a goddamn movie star? Men. Men asking about his training regimen, protocol, what's his stack, is he taking anything? Men would stop and stare at him, and that's because he has a aesthetic that many men want. Many men want the big, powerful, strong. What are you doing? What type of reps? And he would stop and talk. Gym bros know this, is that there's diminishing returns as it refers to the level of aestheticness that's necessary to have most women like you, right? Anything beyond that, you are either A, just in competition within yourself, or B, it's a part of your business because you are trying to create an aesthetic demonstrating that you are this disciplined or you are this gifted and you can pay me money so I can sell you how to do this. It is a reach that he's trying to liken this to like LGBTQ stuff. My issue within all of this is that if there's content creators out there that are trying to sell this as if it is easy to do, because it has always been hard work, time, consistency, and discipline. That's what it's been. And if you can offer men a way to do it or to be motivated by it to get your goals, then I ain't got no problem with it. Okay, that's funny.
That's gayer than gay.
Gayer than gay is crazy. Masculine.
Their
things.
online content is filled with cliches.
Okay.
Look, even their logos and symbols they use are as generic as it gets. Quick, name an animal that's supposed to represent strong masculine men.
Lion. Oh yeah.
Okay, maybe less cliche? Even less? Jesus Christ. Even when you watch their short form video content from the sphere, you notice that they often use the same filter. A filter that cranks up the conscious levels to the extreme. I think this is...
Dog. What? Are you utilizing Terry Crews in this shit? Seems like all of the black guys that he puts in this, is, besides Kevin, maybe, all of the black guys that he puts in this shit is just off base. Yeah, Terry Crews. Why? Because he has muscle. What I was going to say is that like 99.9% of the short form content is actually not created by the influencer themselves. It's created by other people that have nothing to do with the organization. You know how many accounts that people have made just of me? That's not me. That I don't know these people. I don't pay these people money, but they think they can make money off of my name. And at the same junction, they're spreading my reach. So, yeah, you know, I'm not really that mad at them.
It's meant to convey intensity, roughness, and
Larry
a masculine
Wheels.
aura. But they just can't help themselves. Sometimes there's even a blur filter added, giving them like flawless skin. This once again contradicts the rough and unpolished aesthetic of traditional masculinity. To showcase the unfiltered truth of their statements, they often use soundtracks that reinforce the whole thing.
My definition of a man is someone that can slit a throat and hold a baby in the same day. Some of the most masculine men you'll ever meet.
Dark love to me is the world could hate us, the world could be burning down,
Yeah,
and we'd be slow
okay,
dancing
that
and
shit is
burning
wild.
down. And if I can't have love like that, then I don't want love at all. So all my emojis even, rose, black heart, rose. Real love is holding hands with two skeletons. Real love is getting buried by each other. Real love is she'll take a charge for you. Not that I would have somebody, but she'd also kill for you. Real love's dark, bro.
Trust me, a theater kid like me recognizes other theater kids. By the way, when you see this setup right here with these text overlays and that filter, you know that you're watching a podcast with the greatest thinkers of our time. Like, everything I'm saying is true. Did you know that the pilots in 9/11 were women?
You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Then there's this whole Matrix metaphor.
Obesity comes from you Jews affecting our media.
The manosphere is part of the Red Pill movement, a completely reactionary political ideology that aims to wake people up from the mainstream narrative. You know, the Matrix.
It's the Matrix. Matrix. The Matrix.
Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix is trying to frame me, but God knows the truth.
Was Hitler really bad?
What's funny about that is that both directors of The Matrix are trans, and The Matrix itself can be understood as an allegory for the transgender experience, at least according to the directors themselves.
I think that the space exists mostly as a push in the anti-culture of the culture of things such as #BelieveAllWomen, right? The ideas that men and women are identical in every way, right? Biological men playing in women's sports. I think it's important for young men to understand the importance of the family court system and how the government can be utilized against them. I think that it's important for young men to remove the rose-colored glasses, the tinted shades of what they think women are, so that they can make the best decisions going into the future while protecting themselves. I think it's here to protect natural masculinity. You know, the same masculinity that was utilized in order to create the world that we currently exist in. And because none of this, as well as many other things, has not been happening over the past several decades, then we get white knights, beta males, and simps, unhappy men, men with no friends, men where in a post-sexual revolution where the women are the most easiest that they've ever been in the history of the world, a certain subset or caliber of men is the most sexless that they have ever been. Single mother rates are at an all-time high. Shit, just within the black community, only 25% of the women will ever get married. These young men are overmothered and underfathered. And I think that because the men have gotten out of alignment and women have received irrational pushes for things or created victimhood statuses for themselves without understanding what is actually happening under the cover, I think that things have gotten out of line. Things have gotten out of structure. All the things that I've named and providing and talking through solutions to these things is why it has attracted an audience. Yes, so there's some men out there that are theater kids portraying something in order to grift. I'm not arguing that, but I find it interesting that they go out their way to ignore those that are really trying to affect change and really trying to solution and really trying to help.
Men in the sphere tend to idolize figures from pop culture. Besides classic alpha male characters like John Wick, Thomas Shelby, Bruce Wayne or Ryan Gosling, so-called edgelord characters enjoy a special appreciation, especially among incels. Edgelords are characters that stand out for their provocative, violent, rebellious, or nihilistic behavior, like Tyler Durden, Patrick Bateman, Homelander, Travis Bickle, or Joker.
I'm the Joker, baby!
I think this video could go on forever. Like, I haven't even mentioned the aesthetic similarities to fascism, like the fascist body. That would be a whole design study on its own. Overall, I just wanted to point out that through the exaggerated staging of men online, a hypocrisy I think is pretty obvious. Standards that of course cannot be maintained. And I'm not saying like we should throw out all ideals. A strong, healthy body is important. I'm just saying, why don't we men just start questioning these expectations a bit more? Like, why do we even associate certain values to our gender identity?
The people who they admire, respect, adore, revere, honor, whom they imitate, idolize, and form profound attachments to, whom they are willing to teach, and from whom they're willing to learn, and whose respect, admiration, recognition, honor, reverence, and love they desire, those are overwhelmingly other men. Where from women they want devotion, service, and heterosexual male culture is homoerotic. It is man-loving.
This man, hand off the video, did not get AI Andrew Tate quoting Marilyn Fry, who is a radical feminist. This is a picture of Marilyn Fry right here, by the way. I mean, just by the picture alone, you can tell how she feels about men. Anyway, let's finish up the video right here. I think that the gender identity stuff towards the end of the video explains everything that you need to know about this young man. This is a confused young man that is trying to cope with the odd feelings that he has developed, whether that's through the lack of father figure in his life, right? Or the media that he has been exposed to earlier on in life that wanted him to challenge his masculinity. And he feels a degree of shame that he doesn't meet or want to meet some of these idealized images of masculinity. Big, strong, suit-wearing, protector, never of which should ever be shunned. Now, are there physical representations of those within men-centric content that I think are not like that in real life? Absolutely. I agree with him there. But all in all, as he enters in this gender identity while calling these types of men queer, this means that he is an enemy. This is one of the enemies of the state. He's not on your team. He doesn't want you to ride for this shit. He just wants you to question your manhood. And it's a damn shame because as I watch this, I see young men shaped like him becoming gender feminists in order to get butt, without realizing that it will never work for you, bro. They won't like you because you're riding for their team. Yeah, you might get some pity viscous innards, but the fact is that most women walking around today, even outside of the feminist ideologies, like big, strong, tall, protecting men. No, they don't want you to have nail polish on. No, they don't want you to be wearing heels. No, they don't want you all soft voiced and sweet sounding. No, they don't want none of that shit. How plushy of a society that we've created that this is now a new idea of what manhood is. Listen, through the conflict of Iran and Israel, you begin to see that these types of men begin to go away. And that's because strong masculine men have created too much of a plushy society where now men are being tricked and convinced to being soft men. And they currently live in so cushy of an environment that could happen. Let's take a look at some of the comments to see if we can learn anything new, baby. Apparently the video was posted like a year ago, but it just shot up in the algorithm. The original content creator says a lot of people are coming in. It's unfortunate that you guys didn't really like my video, to put it lightly. Hopefully you'll give me a chance and watch my other stuff too. Would really mean the world to me. This man caught the audience of people that he's talking about and is surprised. And yet it seems that even people who criticize the manosphere fall on their pitiful use of unmanly as an insult. I mean, this video straight up uses gay as an insult. Yeah, it's legit shaming tactic if I didn't ever seen one. Being well dressed as a man is a show of status And to think it came about in the 90s is stupid. Sultans had expensive, colorful fabrics. Vikings braided their hair and beards and were washed and groomed. Romans and Greeks would have had scented oils on their skin to smell nice. This is 1,000% correct. It's almost as if we are biologically hardwired, that if we are successful, that we demonstrate it in some type of way. You know, he made an earlier comparison to wealth, and he showed like Bill Gates, who's typically very low key in the way that he dresses, right? The Steve Jobs kind of look. And although those are super rich people, their form of expression is up to them. It doesn't then make it homoerotic if a guy wants to buy a fancy car or wear a nice watch or demonstrate muscles. Like, it doesn't make it gay, bro. Like you fed right in hook, line, and stinker to feminist shaming tactic. Noodle arms beta hating on men, LOL. All right, guys, this is where I'm going to end the content right here. What do you guys think about the video? All right, I'll leave a link to it down in the description box down below in case you guys want to go over and see what other content that the young man has. Hopefully he can become a man one day and stop shaming. Until next time, YouTube. Peace.